Vanilla, you can start.
Okay. Okay, sir. Respected, respected Respected principal ma'am, respected teachers, and all my dear friends, a very good morning to one and all. I'm Vanilla, studying 4th B Farm in Vijaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Women. Now we are a team of 4 members. Myself, Fanisai Vennala, Banusri Chandana, Khyati Sri, and Sai Krishna, Bhanukrishna Sahiti. Now we are going to give a presentation on synthesis and characterization of calcium starch, a new control release polymer for floating tablets of atorvastatin calcium. And the contents include introduction, aim and objectives, literature review, drug profile, excipient profile, materials and methods, results and discussion, summary, conclusion, and references. Sir, next slide.
And coming to the introduction, floating drug delivery systems are used to retain the dosage form in stomach for several hours and increase the gastric residence and release the drug over prolonged period of time, and it enhances the bioavailability of dosage form. Polymers which are used to release retarding material, it play a vital role in retaining the dosage form in buoyant state. Buoyant means it is a force of an object or a tablet which floats on the surface of the stomach. Calcium starch was synthesized, characterized, and it evaluated as a rate controlling matrix for floating tablets. Atorvastatin calcium is the most preferred molecule to treat moderate to severe hypercholesteremia. When atorvastatin calcium contacts with the intestinal fluid, its hydroxy acid form is converted into lactam form. Hydroxy Hydroxyform showed more solubility in gastric fluid, and it causes atorvastatin calcium to be absorbed more in upper part of GIT. So the oral absorption of atorvastatin calcium, it increases by increasing gastric time and retention time of the drug. The main objective of this study is to formulate and evaluate floating tablets of atorvastatin calcium, employing calcium starch as a matrix polymer in comparison to hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose K100M as a synthetic cellulose derivative. Next slide, sir. Next slide, please, sir. And coming to the aim and objective, the main aim is to synthesis and characterization evaluation of new starch based polymer calcium starch as a matrix former in floating tablet of atorvastatin calcium. Objective to formulate and evaluating tablets of atorvastatin calcium. It is employing calcium starch as a polymer in comparison to hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose K100M. To synthesize this calcium starch and characterization of modified starch for both physical and chemical properties. To formulate floating tablets of atorvastatin calcium by direct compression method using different concentration of calcium starch. To study these in vitro release studies using USB dissolution apparatus 2 and pH 0.1 normal HCl. Next slide, please. And coming to the literature review, floating drug delivery systems, it is having a bulk density less than the gastric fluids and remains beyond in the stomach without affecting gastric emptying rate for a prolonged period of time. The drug is released slowly to their desired rate from this system. Uh, it is having two types of system, non-effervescent system and effervescent system. In non-effervescent system, it includes five types of systems. In that colloidal gel barrier system, bilayer floating tablets, microporous compartment system, multi-particle system, and halo microspheres. Next slide. In effervescent systems, it is a drug delivery system can be made to float in stomach by incorporating a floating chamber, which may be filled with a vacuum air or inert gas. It is having two types, volatile liquid containing system and gas generating systems. Uh, Floating drug delivery systems, it is having advantages and disadvantages. In advantages, it is a controlled site specific drug delivery and ease of administration and better patient compliance. In disadvantages, gastric retention is influenced by the motility, pH, and presence of food. Patients should not be dosed in floating just before going to the bed.
Next slide, sir. Coming to the formulation aspect of floating drug delivery systems, we know that pre-formulation studies are very important and necessary for the development of any dosage form or any formulation. These are the preliminary studies which are used to detect the physicochemical properties of the drug, such as its physical appearance, color, nature, pH, pKa, incompatibilities, solubility, and also the compounding effects of the drug. Apart from the active pharmaceutical ingredient we have used, the formulation of floating drug delivery system mainly includes polymers and buoyancy increasing agents. The polymers generally used in these floating drug delivery systems are HPMC K4M, calcium arginate, propylene foam, ethyl cellulose, HPMC 4000, CMC, propylene glycol, polyvinyl alcohol, sodium arsenate, carbol, etc. And along with these polymers, other ingredients used are effervescent agents, release rate retardants, low density materials, buoyancy increasing agents, etc. Coming to the applications of floating drug delivery systems, as these floating drug delivery systems are a part of sustained drug delivery systems, they are used where sustained drug release is used and required. These floating drug delivery systems are also used where enhanced bioavailability and enhanced absorption are required. Some of the drugs are sensitive to colon. In such cases, these FDDS are employed there and there to minimize the adverse activity of the colon. Next slide, sir. Next, coming to the drug profile, here the active pharmaceutical ingredient we used is atorvastatin calcium, which is an anti-hyperlipidemic drug. Due to its solubility, we have less solubility nature, we have taken its salt form for better absorption. And this is the structure of atorvastatin calcium. And these are some of the chemical properties of the drug. That is its IUPAC name, molecular formula, molecular weight, molecular formula weight, and also we know that it belongs to the category of HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors, and its pK is 4.46. It is a white to off-white powder which is insoluble in aqueous solutions and very slightly soluble in distilled water and pH 7.4 phosphate buffer. Next slide, sir. Coming to its mechanism of action, we have already discussed that this atorvastatin calcium is anti-hyperlipidemic drug, which ultimately decreases the plasma lipid concentration level. Generally, cholesterol is synthesized in the liver with the help of HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. Atorvastatin calcium acts on HMG-CoA reductase enzyme and inhibits the action and thus decreases the cholesterol or lipid level in the plasma. Coming to its pharmacokinetic parameters, the absolute bioavailability of atorvastatin is approximately 14%, and its mean volume of distribution is approximately 381 liters. And it is extensively metabolized to ortho and para hydroxylated derivatives and primarily eliminated through bile following hepatic and extrahepatic metabolism. Coming to its dosage and administration, the dosage depends on the condition of the patient, which may be ranges from 10 micrograms to 80 micrograms once daily. It can be administered in single dose at any time of the day without food, but it is contraindicated to pregnant lactating mothers and also in the patients who have active cases of active liver diseases and rare cases of rhabdomyolysis, myeloglobinuria, and acute renal failure are observed as adverse effects of atorvastatin calcium. Coming to the excipient profile, along with the calcium starch, we have synthesized other excipients include HPMC, sodium bicarbonate, microcrystalline cellulose, magnesium stearate, and HPMC here used as polymer along with coating agent and suspending agent. Sodium bicarbonate here used is mainly as alkalizing agent and microcrystalline cellulose is an adsorbent. Magnesium stearate as a lubricant and talc as a glycine.
While coming to the materials and methods, the following materials of pharma grade were used as supplied by the manufacturer. Raw materials like atorvastatin calcium as an active ingredient and HPMCK100 as a release retard polymer, sodium bicarbonate as a gas generating agent, MCC as a binder and diluent, magnesium stearate as a lubricant, talc as a glycine, potato starch as a catalyst, and hydrochloric acid as a gastric fluid. These are some of the manufacturers which are supplied. Next. And instruments, these are the following instruments which are used in electronic balance, melting point apparatus, FTIR spectrometer, tablet compression machine, friability tester, hardness tester, etc. And coming to the experimental methods, the following steps are involved. It includes synthesis of calcium starch, characterization of precipitated starch, pre-formulation studies, drug polymer excipient compatibility studies, formulation of floating tablets, evaluation of compression parameters. Coming to synthesis of calcium starch, potato starch is dissolved in purified water to form a slurry. Sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water and this solution is added to the starch solution and mixed for 30 minutes to form a gelatinized mass. This mass is added to the 300 ml of calcium chloride and mixed stir for 1 hour at 1000 rpm under mechanical stirrer. After 1 hour, precipitated calcium starch formed. This formed precipitated calcium starch precipitated starch collected by the vacuum filtration and dried at 80 degrees centigrade. The dried polymer powdered application of the precipitated starch. The prepared calcium starch was evaluated for various properties like solubility, identification, melting points, swelling index, bulk density, angular deposition. Coming to studies, analytical active pharmaceutical aliens evaluate the and melting measure by using vacuum. And coming to the polymer, it is the conformal photometer. Of floating tablets like
Your voice is not clear. Hello. Your voice is not clear. Mute your video only
Sir,
then you will get clear voice.
Hello, sir.
sir, next slide, sir. Coming to the formulation of floating tablets, Floating tablets containing 20 mg of atorvastatin calcium were formulated by direct compression method, employing calcium starch at 10% and 50% concentration in the formula F1 to F6. Calcium starch and microcrystalline cellulose were accurately weighed and taken in a mortar and mixed. To this, 20 mg of atorvastatin calcium was added and mixed. Then 50 mg of sodium bicarbonate was taken separately in a mortar and powdered. This powder is passed through sieve number 40 and mixed with the drug blend, which is also passed through sieve number 40. The whole mixture was collected in a plastic bag and mixed for 3 minutes. To this mixture, 5 mg of magnesium stearate and talc was added and mixed for 5 minutes. And this mixture equivalent to 250 mg was compressed into 8 mm tablets on a 10 station tablet punching machine. And in the formulation F6, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose K100 was used. Coming, sir, next slide, sir. Coming to the results and discussion, calcium starch was synthesized and the solubility was tested. It was found to be insoluble in all aqueous and organic solvents. pH of a 1% weight by volume slurry was determined by using pH meter and it was found to be 6.2. Melting point was determined by using melting point apparatus and it was found to be 220 degrees Celsius. Viscosity of 1% weight by volume dispersion was found to be 1.6 CPS and it was determined by using Brookfield viscometer. Swelling index was found to be 350.4. Particle size was determined by using optical microscopy. It was found to be 5.41 micrometers. And the hygroscopic nature of calcium starch was determined by using closed desiccator. At 84% relative humidity and room temperature, it was found to be 4.2%. Density was found to be 0.794 gram per cc. Angle of repose was determined by using fixed funnel method. It was found to be 17.42. Compressibility index was found to be 14.32. Sir, next slide, sir. Coming to the identification of calcium starch, the IR spectrum of calcium starch showed the carbonyl stretching at 1795.37 cm inverse, CH stretching at 2514.40 cm inverse, which was absent in the IR spectrum of potato starch, indicating the carbonization of native starch.
Next,
Sir, next slide.
coming to the pre-formulation studies, in that organoleptic properties, it is white to off white in color, unpleasant smell, very fine amorphous powder. Solubility studies, the solubility, it is having the solubility in water and methanol were found to be 0.52 mg per ml and 1.85 mg per ml in methanol. It's having the melting point determination is 160 degrees centigrade. The lambda max of atorvastatin calcium was found to be 242 nanometers. Next slide, sir.
When you are taking new students, at least
Identification of pure drug. Spectra shows peak at 2933.74 centimeters inverse at CH stretching and C double bond O stretch 0.04, and it is having various types, various peaks at identification of pure drug, and standard curve of atorvastatin. It is having the concentration and it increases by the absorbance at 0.485 nanometers.
Next slide, sir. Coming to the evaluation pre-compression parameters, before compression, the dosage form should be evaluated for the powder parameters such as its density and flow properties. Here, density can be measured by using parameters such as bulk density and tapered density. We have taken 6 formulations and these are the resulted values for bulk and tapered densities. Bulk density can be calculated by using the ratio of powder mass to the bulk volume, and tapered density can be calculated by using the ratio of powder mass to the tapered volume of the powder. Coming to the Kars index and Hausner's ratio, Kars index indicates the powder flow properties and expressed as percentages. These are the values of 6 formulations and were and these were ranging between 5 to 10, which indicates excellent flow properties. And coming to the Horsnell's ratio, it is the ratio of taper density to the bulk density. These values which are obtained were also proved that the formulated drug shows excellent flow properties. And then coming to the angle of repose is determined by using the funnel method. Using the formula theta is equal to tan inverse H by R, and the formulated tablets value ranges between below 25, which indicates the excellent flow properties of the powder. Next slide, sir.
Coming to the evaluation of the post-compression parameters, after the compression of the tablet, the following tests were performed to evaluate the results are within limits or not. Coming to the hardness, hardness is determined by using the hardness tester, Pfizer's hardness tester, and the results are between 6.9 to 7.5. The limit of the hardness of the tablet is 4 to 10 kg per centimeter square. So the results are within the limits. Coming to friability, the friability is determined by using the Rauch fibrillator, and the results are between 0.59 to 0.62. The limit of the friability test is below 1%. And coming to weight variation test, the limit of the weight variation test is plus or minus 5%, and the results are between 2.3 to 2.5%. And thickness, the thickness is measured by using the vernier calipers, and the limit of the thickness is plus or minus 5%. The results are between 4.5 to 4.55%. And drug content, the drug content varied between the 98.31% to 99.79% of all the formulations. Next slide, sir.
Coming to the evaluation of buoyancy, sodium bicarbonate induced carbon dioxide generation in presence of dissolution medium. Thus, the density of tablet decreases and it becomes buoyant. The buoyancy lag time and duration of buoyancy were noted visually. Buoyancy lag time was found to be in the range of 2.15 to 5.12 minutes. Duration of buoyancy time of formulations were found to be in the range from 10 to 12 hours. The tablets formulated employing calcium starch and HPMC K100 exhibited good floating characteristics. The formulation F6 showed minimum buoyancy lag time of 2.15 minutes. Sir, next slide, sir. Coming to the evaluation of in vitro release studies, the in vitro release of atorvastatin calcium from floating tablet was found to vary according to percentage of polymer used. The release of atorvastatin decreases with increased concentration of calcium starch. The formulation F5 contains highest concentration of 50% calcium starch, shows better control release of 76.38% after 12 hours. F5 was compared with F6 containing 50% of HPMC K100, and it shows nearly similar control release of 73.23%. F5 was considered as optimized formulation. Here are the two graphs: cumulative percentage drug release using calcium starch and cumulative percentage drug release of F5 and F6. Sir, next slide. Sir.
Let us have a quick summary. We have prepared calcium starch, and it was found to be white, crystalline, non-hygroscopic powder which is insoluble in water and has no pasting and gelling property when heated in water. Then we have compressed a total of 6 formulations of atorvastatin calcium employing calcium starch, HPMC K100 as polymers. Then we have evaluated some of its pre and post compression parameters, which are resulted as follows. The compressed matrix tablets were also found to be white off-white color, convex in shape, without any tablets defects such as chipping, cracking, and sticking. The weight variation was within the limit, that is in the range of plus to minus 7.5, and the hardness ranged between 6.8 to 7.2 kg per centimeter square, and also the percentage drug content was found to be in between 98 to 99%. The buoyancy lag time was also in the range of 2 minutes 15 seconds to 5 minutes 15 seconds. And also the duration of buoyancy was found to be in the range of 10 to 12 hours. As we discussed above, the tablets formulated employing calcium starch and HPMC K100 exhibited good floating characteristics, and the formulation F6 showed minimum buoyancy lag time of 2 minutes 15 seconds. And the in vitro release studies of atorvastatin calcium states that when atorvastatin calcium was decreased with increasing concentration of 50% calcium starch and showed better control release of 76.38% after 12 hours. The formulation F5 was compared with formulation F6 containing 50% HPMC K100 and it showed nearly similar control release of 73.23%. Hence, the F5 was considered as optimized formulation. Next slide, sir.
Coming to the conclusion, atorvastatin calcium control release floating tablets were prepared by direct compression method using calcium starch as release retard polymer. Atorvastatin formulation F5 containing 50% calcium starch showed better control release than other formulations. The formulation F5 was compared with formulation F6 containing 50% hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose K100 and it shows nearly similar control release of 73.23%. From all results, we conclude that calcium starch is suitable for the design of control release floating tablets of atorvastatin. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Vanilla.
Thank you.
Thank you, one and all.
Madam, shall we start next project, madam? Madam, shall we start next project, madam? Sudarsha students, get ready for presentation. Sudarsha students, you can start now.
Sir, shall I start, sir?
Start, ma.
Sir.
First introduce yourself, then you start the presentation.
Okay, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning to respected sirs. As we already done project on this topic, now we are presenting a topic on this topic. Topic is antibacterial and antifungal activity of various extracts on Carica papaya linseeds under the guidance of Dr. Sundar sir, who is PhD and associate professor in Department of Pharmaceutical Biotechnology. Myself, P. Himaja, studying in Vijay Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Women, and now I'm going to tell introduction. Coming to introduction, medicinal plants may be defined as those plants. Sir, slide.
It's introduction only, ma. First slide.
Yes, sir.
You want first slide?
Yes, sir. Introduction slide.
You want the presentation, I think.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir, I will continue. Medicinal plants may be defined as those plants that are commonly used in treating and preventing specific ailments and diseases. Medicines derived from plants are widely famous due to their safety, easy availability, and low cost. Herbal medicines also may include in this, and these whole parts of plants are mostly prepared from leaves, roots, bark, seeds, and flowers of plants. They are administered orally, inhaled, or directly applied in the skin. And the medicinal value of these plants lies in bioactive phytochemical constituents that produce definite physical action on the human body. Nowadays, human beings have dependent on nature for their simple requirements as being the source for medicine, shelters, food, fragments, clothing, flavors, and fertilizers, and means of transportations. Thought out of the ages, for large proportions of world's population, medicinal plants continue to show a dominant role in the healthcare system, and this is mainly true in developing countries. Herbs also were common in the medicine of ancient India, where, where, where the principal treatment for disease was diet, and plants are involved in complex network of interaction with microorganisms. Some of those are beneficial, others are detrimental, but the former are by the largest and still widely unexplored part. Coming to the uh, as we all already know, plants have played a significant role in maintaining human health. Papaya is also playing a significant role. Papaya is the powerhouse of nutrients and is available throughout the year. It is a rich source of three powerful antioxidants such as vitamin C, vitamin A, and vitamin E. The phytoconstituents present in Carica papaya are magnesium, potassium, vitamin B, and pantothenic acid, and folate and fiber. In addition to all this, it contains a digestive enzyme papain that effectively causes of trauma, allergies, and sports injuries. Carica papaya seed is currently being marketed as a nutritional supplement with purported ability to regenerate the body condition and to increase energy. Carica papaya is suggested for use in ailments such as cancer, leukemia, cysts, goiter, amoebiasis, pneumonia, emphysema, and intestinal parasitism. Coming to the aim, the main aim is to study the antibacterial and antifungal activity of various extracts of Carica papaya linseeds, and objectives are to extract the Carica papaya plant seeds in different solvents by oxalate extraction method, and to study the antibacterial activity of Carica papaya linseeds against 3 gram.
Hello. Hello, ma. Oh, slide is not visible now. You go on speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, wait for some time. SPR sir is asking you to stop. You are not listening.
Okay, ma'am.
Wait, he will reconnect it. There is some technical problem.
Star voice is not audible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that's why in between I spoke to you. You
Okay,
wait for some time. He will reconnect it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam, it's visible, madam.
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay, ma, you can start.
Okay, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. As we already done project on this topic, now we are presenting a presentation on this topic. The topic is antibacterial and antifungal activity of various extracts of Carica papaya limb seeds, and under the guidance of Dr. Sundar sir, PhD and Associate Professor of Department of Pharmaceutical Biotechnology. Myself, P. Himja. I'm studying a fourth B Pharmacy in Vijay Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Women. And coming to the introduction, the topic is antibacterial and antifungal activity of various extracts on Carica papaya linseeds. And introduction, coming to introduction, medicinal plants may be defined as those plants that are commonly used in treating and preventing specific ailments and diseases. Medicines derived from plants are widely famous due to their safety, easy availability, and low cost. As we already know, plants have played a significant role in maintaining human health and improving the quality of human life for thousands of years. Papaya is also playing a significant role in maintaining human health. Papaya is a powerhouse of nutrients and is available throughout the year. It is a rich source of three powerful antioxidants such as vitamin C, vitamin A, and vitamin E. Phytoconstituent present in Carica papaya are magnesium, potassium, vitamin B, pantothenic acid, and folate and fiber. In addition to all these, it contains a digestive enzyme papain that effectively causes of trauma, allergies, and sport injuries. Carica papaya seed is currently being marketed as a nutritional supplement with purported ability to regenerate the body condition and to increase energy. Carica papaya is suggested for use in ailments such as cancer, leukemia, cysts, goiter, amoebiasis, pneumonia, emphysema, and intestinal parasitism. And the main aim and objectives are: the main aim is to study the antibacterial and antifungal activity of uh, ex- various extracts of Carica papaya linseeds, and the objective is to extract the Carica papaya plant seeds in different solvents by Soxhlet extraction method, and to study the antibacterial activity of Carica papaya linseeds against 3-gram positive and 3-gram negative microorganisms, and to study the antifungal of Carica papaya linseeds against selective fungal organisms. Coming to the Coming to the plant review, the botanical name of Carica papaya is Carica papaya, and the family is Caricaceae, and the genus is Carica. Synonyms are there are so many synonyms that are papaya, papita, papile, papau, and so many other. The Indian synonyms in Kerala are Omaika, Tamil Nadu, papile, and Maharashtra, papai, and in Gujarat, papaya. Next slide. The morphological characters are: papaya plant is a large single-stemmed herbaceous perennial tree having 20 to 30 feet height. The leaves are very large, palmate, lobed, or deeply incised with entire margins, and petioles of 1 to 3 feet in length. And And the fruits are being oval in shape and sometimes called pepo-like berries since they resemble melon by having central seed cavity, and flowers are having dioecious or hermaphroditic, producing only male, female, or bisexual flower, and sometimes these are called triaceous. And the leaves are numberless of benefits having, and in some parts of Asia the young leaves of the papaya are steamed and eaten like spinach. and and the geographical distributions are, though the exact area of origin is unknown, the papaya is believed native to tropical America, perhaps in southern Mexico and neighboring Central America. Successful commercial production today is primarily in Hawaii and tropical Africa, Philippines, and smaller scale in production in South Africa and Latin America. In India, papaya is cultivated in Maharashtra, Bengal, Bihar, Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, Andhra Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh. Now coming to the pharmacological properties of Carica papaya, the plant Carica papaya has been proved for various medicinal activities like antimicrobial and helminthic effect on smooth muscles, anti-ulcer, and anti-sickling activities. Antimicrobial activities are, these are having a, antimicrobial activity against Trichomonas vaginalis, protozoa, and the report suggests that the use of papaya seed in urinogenital disorders like trichomoniasis with care to avoid toxicity. Next slide, sir. And now coming to the anthelmintic activity, 8 dried papaya seeds have been used in herbal homes for treatment of intestinal parasites. Consumption of papaya seeds has been reported, and to offer cheap, natural, harmless, readily available monotherapy and prevention strategy against intestinal parasites. Effect on smooth muscles. The ethanol extract of papaya seeds showed concentration dependent inhibition of gingenum concentration and found significantly irreversible. Next slide, sir. And anti-sickling activity, the methanol extract of Carica papaya dose 10 mg per ml in vitro reduced hemolysis and protected erythrocyte membrane integrity under osmosis stress condition. And in anti-ulcer activity, aqueous seed extract of Carica papaya at the dose of 50 mg per ml and 100 mg per ml against alcohol-induced acute gastric damage and blood oxidative stress in rats.
Good morning, Honorable. Myself, Sirisha. I'm here to share about traditional uses of Carica papaya. Carica papaya has been used in treatment of diabetics as birth control, as an anti-lower blood pressure. Papaya fruits are a source of flavors used in candies, jellies, ice creams, etc. Unripe fruits cause a milky scape or latex is collected, dried, and termed as papain. Papain is most commonly used as meat tendons and chewing gums. For cosmetical purpose, papain is used as used in some toothpaste, shampoos, and facial cream. Next. Coming to the microorganisms, Micrococcus luteus, it is an urease and catalase, means it is exposed to oxygen, catalase positive. Most commonly, it is found in soil, dust, water, and air as part of normal flora of the mammalian skin. Micrococcus luteus is a gram-positive, gram-variable, non-motile tetra-arranging coccus belonging to the family Micrococcaceae. Micrococcus luteus is considered a contaminant in sick patients and is resistant by showing of major metabolic process and induction of genes. Micrococcus luteus is coagulase negative, bacitracin susceptible, and form bright yellow colonies on nutrient agar. Micrococcus luteus has been shown to survive in oligotrophic environment for extended period of time. It survived at least 34,000 to 170,000 years on the basis of 16 sRNA analysis. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Coming the Staphylococcus aureus, it is a gram-positive round-shaped ball that is a member of Firmicutes. It is a usual member of the microbiota of the body, frequently found in upper respiratory tract on the skin. It is often positive for facultative anaerobe that can grow with 20% to 30% of Coccus aureus, which can found as a part of the normal skin flora in the nostril and as a normal inhabitant of the lower reproductive tract of women. It can cause illness from minor skin infections such as pimples, toxic shock syndrome, sepsis. Next slide. Coming to Serratia marcescens, it is a species of rod-shaped gram-negative bacteria that is also a facultative anaerobic organism. It is commonly involved in hospital acquired infection, particularly bacteremia, means presence of bacteria in the blood, urinary tract infection and wound infection. Coming to the Escherichia coli, it is a gram-negative facultative anaerobic rod-shaped coli from bacterium of the genus Escherichia that is commonly found in lower intestine of warm-blooded organism. Most Escherichia coli strains are harmless, but some Serrastrepes can cause serious food poisoning in their host. Escherichia coli, which can survive for and growth outside a host, chemoheterotrophs, which is defined as whose medium must include a source of carbon and energy. Next slide. Coming to Pseudomonas aeruginosa, it is a common encapsulated gram-negative rod-shaped bacterium that can cause disease in plants and animals and including in humans. It is also able to decompose hydrocarbons and has been used to break down tar balls and oil from oil spills. The symptoms of such infections are generalized inflammation and sepsis. If such colonization occurs in critical body organs such as lungs, the urinary tract and kidneys, the result can be fatal. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Coming to the Bacillus subtilis, it is also called as hay bacillus or grass bacillus. It is a gram-positive catalyzed positive bacterium found in soil. A member of gene Bacillus subtilis is rod-shaped and can form a tough protective endospore, allowing it to tolerate extreme environmental conditions. Bacillus subtilis has historically been classified as an obligate anaerobe through evidence exists that it is facultative anaerobe. It is one of the bacterial championing in secret enzyme production and used on the industrial scales by biotechnological companies. Bacillus subtilis is considered the best studied gram-positive bacterium. Materials
Good morning,
and
sir.
methods.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam. Myself, Nandini. Materials and methods. Materials. Plant material. The plant material were used for this works are seeds of Carica papayal were used in and around of Vijayawada. Next slide, sir. Next, microorganisms. 6 microorganisms were used in the study. Gram positive and gram negative. Gram positive Bacillus subtilis, Micrococcus luteus, Staphylococcus aureus. Gram negative Escherichia coli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Serratia. Next instruments, sir. Next slide. Instruments are used for this works are Soxhlet operator, incubator, refrigerator, laminar airflow chamber, hot air oven, grinder, micropipette, etc. Next, chemicals. The chemicals are used for this works are ethyl acetate, ethanol, methanol, chloroform, dimethyl sulfoxide, agar, peptine, sodium, beef extract, etc. Next, methods. Methods are preparation of plant extraction. Freshly collected of plant materials such as seeds of Carica papayal were used thoroughly dried. The plant material were dried independently in shade followed by grinding into fine powder. The powdered plant material of Carica papayal were stored in tight air jar refrigerator separately out to 4 degrees centigrade. 15 grams of dry powder seeds of Carica papayal was extracted 125 ml of ethanol by Soxhlet operator for 6 hours till the powder get colorless. The trace amount of solvents was removed used by rotator vacuum to get a concentrated extracted. In the same method used for the extraction of carica papaya seeds with ethanol, methanol solvents also. Different concentration 50, 100, 150 Ug for ml of carica papaya seeds solvents used for this prepared with dimethyl sulfoxide. Next, preparation of inoculum. To prepare bacterial inoculum, pure culture of test organisms with inoculated into 5 ml of sterile nutrition broth and incubated at 35 centigrade for 2 to 8 hours. Still modified turbidity development. The inoculum was standard by matching with 0.5 MC Fairland turbidity standard with corresponding to tell density approximately 10 power 8 CFU per ml. Antibacterial, antifungal activity by agar disc diffusion method. Next slide. Antibacterial and antifungal activity of carica papaya seeds extracted with determinating by using modified Kaibai-Bayer disc method. Growth culture of test culture and fungal organisms were spreaded on the Muller-Hyston agar media and in petri plates and microbe growth culture under the lab condition. The extraction was tested using 5 mm sterile filter papers disc with impregnement with 50, 100, 150 Ug for ml of ethanol, methanol, chloroform extraction of carica papaya seeds and allow dry for few minutes at room temperature. Place incubated 35 centigrade about 24 hours for antibacterial activity, 22 centigrade for 72 hours for antifungal activity. Next slide, sir. Okay. Next we'll continue Apsana.
Results and discussion. We are extracted with some gram-positive and gram-negative organisms and antifungal bacteria. In this slide, here the x-axis represents the concentration of ethanol, methanol, chloroform, and standard drug. Y-axis represents the zone of inhibition. Here we take standard drug for gentamicin used for antibacterial activity and fluconazole used for antifungal activity. In this table and graph represents the antimicrobial activity of carica papaya seed extract against E. coli. In this table represents the zone of inhibition of various extracts. In the graph, the ethanol has a more zone formed by the 100 Uc per ml concentration with 10 mm. In methanol, the more zone formed by the 150 Uc per ml concentration with 10 mm. In chloroform, the more zone formed by the 115 Uc per ml concentration with 12 mm. The standard concentration, the zone of inhibition formed by 18 mm. So next slide, sir. In this table and the graph represents the antimicrobial activity of carica papaya seed extract against Pseudomonas aeruginosa. In this table represents the zone of inhibition of various extracts, and in this graph, the ethanol in the more zone of inhibition formed by the 100 Uc per ml concentration with 9 mm. In methanol, the more zone formed by the 115 Uc per ml concentration with 11 mm. In chloroform, the more zone formed by the 100 Uc per ml concentration with 13 mm. The standard drug has formed 16 mm. So next slide, sir. In this table and graph represents the antimicrobial activity of carica papaya seed extract against Serrata magnificens. In this table represents the zone of inhibition of various extracts, and in the graph the ethanol has a more zone of inhibition formed by the 100 Uc per ml concentration with 10 mm. In methanol, the more zone formed by the 150 Uc per ml concentration with 10 mm. In chloroform, the more zone formed by the 150 Uc per ml concentration with 12 mm. So next slide, sir. In this table and graph represents the antimicrobial activity of carica papaya seed extract against Staphylococcus aureus. In this table represents the zone of inhibition of various extracts, and in this graph, in ethanol, more zone formed by the 150 Uc per ml concentration with 15 mm. In methanol, the more zone formed by the 150 Uc per ml concentration with 12 mm. In chloroform, the Moore zone formed by the 100 and 150 Uc per ml concentration with 13 mm. Sir, next slide, sir. This graph and table represents the antimicrobial activity of Carica papaya seed extract against Micrococcus luteus. In this table represents the zone of inhibition of various extracts. Okay. In ethanol, the Moore zone formed by the 100 UC per ml concentration with 9 mm. In methanol, the Moore zone formed by the 150 UC per ml concentration with 11 mm. In chloroform, 150 UC per ml formed by the 13 mm, and standard concentration, standard zone of inhibition is 21 mm. And results and discussion. Finally, according to the results obtained by in the analysis, the methanol and chloroform extracts produce a greater zone of inhibition for gram-negative microorganisms than ethanol extract. According to the gram-positive microorganisms, ethanol and chloroform extracts produced more zone of inhibition than methanol extract. Candida produced 15-16 mm zone of inhibition in the concentration of 115 UC per ml of chloroform and methanol extracts respectively. Similarly, Aspergillus niger was produced 11-13 mm zone of inhibition in 150 UC per ml of methanol and chloroform extracts respectively. Sir, next slide, sir. Finally, I conclude that Carica papaya seed extracts produced very good antimicrobial and antifungal activity in methanol and chloroform extract. And isolate the active ingredients responsible for these activities will be useful for the further development of new formulation from the Carica papaya seeds for the treatment of various diseases. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Message for
Next, Hemlata madam, students, you can start your presentation now.
Start, sir.
You can start, ma. First introduce yourself, then you start your presentation.
Okay, sir. Good morning, everyone. Myself, B. Yamini, 4th B Farm of Vijaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Women. Today, the topic of our presentation is all about formulation and evaluation of gastroretentive floating tablets of pantoprazole sodium, which is presented under the guidance of B. Hemlata ma'am. Sir, next slide, sir. Contents, introduction, aim and objectives, drug profile, methodology, results and discussion, and conclusion. Sir, next slide, sir. Firstly, introduction. The predominant or widely used drug delivery route is oral route. Gastroretentive drug delivery system has recently been of increasing interest in pharmaceutical field to achieve improved therapeutic advantages. Generally, the drugs that are easily absorbed from the GIT have shorter half-lives and are eliminated quickly from systemic circulation. So frequent dosing is necessary for the effective therapeutic activity.
To avoid this limitation, gastroretentive drug delivery system formulation is an attempt to release the drug slowly into the systemic circulation by residing in the gastric region for the longer time. Gastric residence time depends upon the food and fluid intake. Gastroretentive drug delivery systems are designed to delay gastric emptying. So next slide, sir. Advantages. Drug absorption is increased because of retention of the dosage form in the gastric region, and controlled drug delivery is maintained, so minimal irritation of gastric region. Treatment of gastroesophageal reflux disease is also possible. Ease of administration and better patient compliance. So next slide, sir. Limitations. Drugs like NSAIDs are not desirable for retention in the stomach. They may cause gastric lesions. Drugs that degrade in the acidic environment like insulin. Drugs that undergo first pass metabolism and limited solubility drugs like phenytoin. Over to Vishwaja. Next slide, sir.
Respected Principal Ma'am, faculty and my dear friends, good morning to everyone. Myself Vishwaja. As my friend had already discussed about the gastric retention time, I'm going to say how that increase in the gastric retention time can be approached. So it can be approached by the 4 different types. First one is floating drug delivery system, mucoadhesive system, swellable system, and high density system. Coming to the floating drug delivery system, it is also called as dynamically balanced system. These systems are low density systems that have sufficiently buoyant to float over the gastric contents and remain buoyant in the stomach without affecting the gastric emptying rate for a prolonged period of time. So this results in the gastric retention time and better control of fluctuations in the plasma drug concentration. Generally, the gastric emptying time in the humans is normally averages about 2 to 3 hours through the major absorption zone, that is in the stomach and the upper part of the intestine, can result in the incomplete drug release from the drug delivery system, leading to reduced efficiency of administered dose. Coming to the second type, mucoadhesive system. Sir, can you please change the slide? Okay. Coming to the second type, bioadhesive or mucoadhesive delivery system. These systems are those which bind to the gastric epithelial cell surface or mucin of the stomach and serves as a potential means of extending the gastric retention time in the stomach by increasing the intimacy and duration of contact of drug with the biological membrane. Next is the swellable system. These are the dosage forms which after swallowing swell to an extent that prevents their exit from the pylorus. As a result, the dosage form is retained in the stomach for a prolonged period of time and therefore gastric retention can be increased. Next, the last one is the high density system. These systems with a density of about 3 grams per centimeter cube are retained in the stomach for a prolonged period of time by sedimenting to the folds of the stomach. So increased density formulations include the coated pellets. Next, coming to the aims and objectives. The present study is aimed towards the formulation and evaluation of gastro-retentive floating tablets by direct compression technology using pantoprazole sodium as a model drug. Coming to the objectives, to develop the floating tablets of pantoprazole sodium by direct compression technique, to evaluate the prepared granules for the bulk density, tab density, bulkiness, angle of repose, compressibility index and hostness ratio, and to evaluate the compressive tablet for the hardness, uniformity in the weight, friability, drug content, buoyancy, lag time, and duration of buoyancy, swelling index, and lastly, the in vitro release studies were performed using the USP dissolution apparatus type 2 and pH of about 1.2 HCl buffer. Over to Karishma.
Good morning, respected sir and dear ma'am. Myself, Karishma. I'm going to tell about the drug profile of pantoprazole sodium. First introduction. Pantoprazole sodium is a proton pump inhibitor drug used for short-term treatment for erosion and ulceration of the esophagus caused by gastroesophageal reflux disease. Coming to chemical structure, this is the chemical structure of pantoprazole sodium. The chemical name of pantoprazole sodium was 5-dichloromethoxy 2,3,4 dimethoxy 2-pyridine methyl sulfinyl benzimidazole sodium salt. The molecular weight is C16H14F2N3NaO4S and the molecular weight is 405.352 grams per mole. It appears like yellow odorless crystalline powder and the category is anti-ulcer drug. The melting point is 270 degrees Celsius, and solubility is very soluble in water, methanol and ethanol, freely soluble in acetone, soluble in phosphate buffer within the pH 6.0 to 7.5 range, practically insoluble in chloroform, dichloromethane, diethyl ether and hexane. The dose is 40 mg orally once a day, and the pK value is 13.5 at 18 degrees Celsius. The half-life is 1 hour. Coming to pharmacokinetics parameter of pantoprazole sodium. It includes 4 parameters. First one is absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination. First, absorption. Pantoprazole sodium is well absorbed. It undergoes little first-pass metabolism, resulting in absolute bioavailability of approximately 77%. Next, coming to distribution, it distributes plasma protein binding is approx 98%, mainly to albumin. Next, metabolism. Extensively, the drug is metabolized in the liver through cytochrome P450 system. The main metabolic pathway is demethylation by cytochrome 2C19, with subsequent sulfation, and other metabolic pathways include oxidation by cytochrome 3A4. Next, elimination. In urine, it eliminates 71%. In feces, it eliminates 18%. No renal excretion of unchanged drug. Next, mechanism of action. Pantoprazole inhibits specifically and dose proportionality. S plus K plus ATPase, the enzyme which is responsible for gastric acid secretion in the parietal cells of the stomach. Next, coming to polymer profile. The polymer here used is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. The chemical name is cellulose 2-hydroxyl propyl methyl ether, and the molecular weight is 10,000 to 15. Color is white to creamy white, and the solubility is soluble in cold water, practically insoluble in chloroform, ethanol, and ether. Next, some functional categories are bioadhesive materials, mucoadhesive agents, stabilizing agents, suspending agents, etc. Over to Geetika.
Good morning, respected sir and women. Myself Geetika, and I'm here to explain about the composition of floating tablets of pantoprazole sodium. Coming to the ingredients which we have used in our formulation are pantoprazole sodium, which is a crystalline in nature and it is yellow in color. We have used is HPMC K100M and sodium carbonate, citric acid, magnesium. We have formulated. As we can see in this of HPMC K100 are varied due to varied amounts of addition of these two ingredients. The dosage form can stay retained in the gastric region for much time. Next slide, sir. Coming to the methodology, pre-formulation studies are performed for the investigation of physical and the chemical properties of a drug substance alone. And when we combined with the excipient, it is the first step in the rational development of dosage forms. Pre-formulation studies include appearance of a drug, which can be determined physically. And coming to the organoleptic properties, we can determine the color, odor, and taste of the drug physically. And the melting point can be determined, and even solubility is determined by the quantitatively determination by adding the drug in small increments to a test tube containing fixed amount of solvent. After each addition, the system was vigorously shaken by using orbital shaker and examined virtually for any undissolved solute particles. And one of the last thing in the pre-formulation studies is drug excipient compatibility studies. It is determined with the help of FTIR. Approximately pre-weighed sample about 1 gram of drug and excipient was mixed through with 100 mg potassium bromide powder and compacted under vacuum at a pressure of about 12 psi for 3 minutes. The resultant disc was mounted in a suitable holder in Perkin Elmer IR spectrophotometer, and the IR spectrum was recorded for 4000 cm inverse. Coming to the construction of estimation of pantoprazole sodium in that construction of the calibration curve by using pH 1.2 HCl buffer. In this, the preparation of the 0.1 HCl acid solution and preparation of standard solution of pantoprazole sodium and preparation of the standard solution is done. From the above stock solution, we have to take 0.2, 0.4 and 6, 0.8 and 1 ml respectively from the stock solution, and we have to pipette it out 10 ml into the volumetric flask. The volume was made up to the mask with 0.1 normal HCl. The dilutions gave 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100 μg per ml respectively. The concentration of pantoprazole sodium from the above solution after the further dilutions are carried to get the concentration series of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 μg per ml of standard pantoprazole sodium by using 0.1 normal HCl. The absorbance of each standard solution was measured by using UV spectrophotometer at 292 nanometer wavelength. The calibration graph was plotted at concentration on x-axis and absorption on y-axis. And coming to the preparation of floating tablets of pantoprazole sodium, it is prepared by the direct compression method. And accurately, we have to take the weight quantities of polymer, microcrystalline cellulose and citric acid in a mortar and mixed geometrically. To this mixture, required quantity of pantoprazole sodium was added and mixed slightly with the pestle. Accurately, weight quantities of sodium bicarbonate are added separately in the mortar and powdered with pestle. The powder is passed through the sieve number 40 and mixed with the drug blend, which is also passed through the sieve number 40. And the whole mixture was collected and mixed for 3 minutes. To this, magnesium stearate was added and mixed for 5 minutes. Later, talc was added, and again we have to blend the mixture. For this thing, we have to perform the studies angle of repose, bulk density, tap density, and compression index, business ratio. Coming to the evaluation of floating tablets of pantoprazole sodium, here we can see weight variation, friability, thickness, hardness, drug content, in vitro buoyancy study, swelling study, in vitro dissolution study. Weight variation is done by directly selecting randomly the tablets and weighing the average weight was calculated. Not more than 2 of the individual weight should deviate from the average weight by more than percentage. Coming to the friability, it refers to the loss in weight of tablets in the containers due to removal of fines from the tablet surfaces. It is performed in the Roche friabilator at a speed of 25 rpm for 100 revolutions. Coming to the formulation, friability, the weight of initial tablets by weight obtained after the friabilation by weight of initial into 100. Coming to the thickness, it can be found by randomly picking the tablets from the batch and determining their thickness and diameter with a calibrated vernier calipers. Hardness is tested with the help of hardness tester, and drug content is determined by randomly selecting the 20 tablets and their weight and powdered. The powdered equivalent weight of a drug can be weighed accurately, and it is dissolved in 0.1 normal HCl. The solution is shaken thoroughly